Okay, so welcome along to today's stretching class. Today's main focus is going to be glutes and hip flexors. So we're going to start off by just doing a little stretch to get us nice and warm before we go into the main stretches. So we're just going to take those feet apart. We're just going to take ourselves forwards and then back up. Just go nice and slow. Take your time, just starting to warm up into those hamstrings and those glutes. Keeping those legs fairly straight, slight bend at the knees. Then we're just going to bring our feet back in together. We're just going to lift the knees up to the front, up into the chest. Now you might find, if you're like me, this is an area that I suffer quite a lot of stiffness, quite a lot of tightness in the hips. Starting to take it out to the side. And then just give them a little circle round. So it is an area that we will be spending quite a wee bit of time on throughout these stretching classes, circle the other way. So I think for most people who exercise quite a lot and exercise regularly, you're probably the same, tight hips, tight glutes. Okay, so now that we've warmed up those hips a little bit with a little bit of movement there, we're just going to start with a little bit of movement up and down on the floor. So we're going to take ourselves down onto the mat or onto your carpet, whatever you've got there. So you're just going to take your hands onto your hips, you're going to sit down into those hips and then push back up. Sitting down and push back up. So this is also incorporating those quadriceps, so the front of the legs, starting to warm up those quads and those hips. We're then going to come up onto both knees. You're going to take your right leg in front and then you're just going to gently rock forwards into the hip and then gently back. So nice and gentle as you go forwards, keeping that front foot on the floor. Make sure when you look down you can glance forwards so you can still see your toes. A few more of these, keeping that movement going. And then we're going to swap over to the opposite side. So swap over, other foot's going to come in front, get your balance and then gently rocking forward and gently back. Again, we don't want to push too hard here because we are just warming up through those hips. So gently forwards and gently back. Don't worry if you lose count, just keep going on this side. A few more. And then just tuck those feet back in. And then we're going to take ourselves down onto the floor, onto our bottom. So stretch those legs out in front of you, take your hands up, reach them above your head, reach for your toes, slide them back up the legs, reaching up, reaching forward and back up. Warm up those hamstrings, up and forward and back in. One more time, up and forward and back in. And then just give those legs a little shake out. So those hips are nice and warm, those hamstrings are warm, quadriceps are warm, glutes are warm, we're ready to start with our main stretches. So if we come round onto our knees, we're going to come round and take ourselves back into the position that we just done. So the right leg is coming to the front, we're going to push forwards a little bit further now into the stretch. So place both hands on top of the thigh and you're going to push forwards. Now when you're doing this position, you want to make sure, show you from the side, that your knee is pushing forwards but it's not going over the toe. So make sure that that heel is leading out in front in that position. So push right forward into that hip flexor. Just hold them for a few more seconds. Really stretch into that right side of the body. And then from here, going to take both your hands and just pull them on the outside of the hip and rotate round to the back. So you can keep a nice deep breath as you're doing this. And just take the stretch a little bit further. Keeping everything nice and straight and top of the body all the way down to the centre. Back into the centre, release backwards and swap to the opposite side. So take the other leg forwards, pressing into the hip, pushing again forwards to that hip flexor, making sure that your knee is not going over your toe. Keep your back nice and straight and push your hips forwards. Nice and gentle here, you don't want to go too far, especially if this is your first time doing any type of stretching. And then taking it round to the back, pushing against that leg. So just adding in a little bit of rotation, and all that's going to do is it's just going to increase the stretch through that hip flexor. So if it's too much for you to twist, then you can just stay straight forwards, or if you've got some furniture close by that you can hold on to keep your balance. Then coming back into the middle, release gently back and release those legs. Coming down onto your bottom, we're going to bring both feet together into like a butterfly position, holding onto the feet and opening the knees out to the side. So trying to press those knees out and down, keep a nice tall chest, keeping the back nice and straight. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, slowly pushing those knees a little bit further down towards the floor. Now if you find that you've not got great flexibility in the hips and your knees are a little bit higher, then you can always press those knees down using the hands, or you can sit with your back against the wall to keep your back nice and straight, and then work on pressing those knees open. So just go as far as you can, take nice deep breaths, and with each breath as you exhale, just take that stretch a little bit further. Holding for a few more breaths here, opening up from those knees, keeping that back nice and tall, and keep that length through the spine. Super. And then from here we're going to release those knees and take both legs out in front and just give them a little shake. So we've started to work there through the hips. We're now going to work through the back of the legs, down, all the way down the back of the legs into those hamstrings. So we're going to start by getting into the correct position, toes pointed up towards the ceiling, heels on the mat or on the floor. Inhale, lift your hands over your head and lengthen your back as you reach forwards towards your toes. Now if you cannot reach for your toes, don't worry, don't panic, just go as far as you can. So holding on to the front of the legs if you can't reach your toes, and if you can reach the toes, hold on to the outside of the toes and work on pulling your chin forwards towards your toes. And again, you want to work with your own breathing, so taking your breath in and exhaling as you go a little bit further forwards. Ensuring that we're keeping those legs nice and along the floor, trying to avoid any bent knees. If you're having to bend your knees, then just bring yourself back up a little bit further, reset your position, and then take yourself forwards again. So continue to hold there for one more inhale, exhale, pulling that chin forwards, and then slowly release back up from those legs. Super. From that position, we're then going to take our right leg out and we're going to tuck our left foot up and in to the inside of the other thigh. Readjust your centre, so bring it round, facing towards your toes. We do the exact same thing that we've just done with the two legs, but we're just going to use one leg now. So inhale up, stretch the body as long as you can, and then take it all the way forwards, reaching for those toes. Again, if you can't reach for the toes, you can use things here. Obviously, this is not a yoga class, but if you do come to yoga, or if you've got any yoga straps at home, or any bands, elastic, or even just a piece, you can use your tire from your night dress, like your robe. It can go round and you can pull forward. So you can always use things like that as well if you don't have yoga straps. Pulling again towards that toe. As you inhale, exhale, you'll be feeling a good stretch to the back of the hamstrings here. Also down at the base of your back as well. If you've got any tightness there, you might find that you're starting to feel this stretch down there as well. Slowly releasing that leg and change over to the opposite side. So the other side comes out. We have to readjust ourselves, so we have to turn our full body round to face towards our toes. We inhale, we stretch the body as high as we can, lengthen through the spine as you take it forwards and reach for those toes. Now if you are training a lot and you're finding that your flexibility is something that's really being compromised but you don't have time to do it, then these few stretches are perfect, especially after you've worked hard at the gym. If you've done hamstrings, glutes, then definitely try and incorporate this into your daily routine if you can. That's one reason why I've started doing these videos, because I myself find that I haven't been stretching enough. I've kind of neglected my flexibility a little bit, and then injuries start to occur and you wish that you had stretched more. So a lot of my clients were feeling the same, so I thought it'd be a good idea to introduce you to some stretches that you can do at home and release. And they're nice and easy to follow. They don't take a lot of time, just a few minutes out of your day to give them a little go. That's all the stretches we're going to cover today for our hamstrings and our hip flexors. This is only a small portion of the exercises and stretches that we are going to cover, but tune in next time to learn some more stretches where we'll focus even more on the glutes and maybe a wee bit more on the quadriceps as well, if those lower body muscles are really feeling it from some heavy workouts. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.